So now let's have a little bit of an introduction on collections in the Python world. So basically what collections are they are variables that are able to contain multiple values. So if you've dealt with other programming languages, this will generally be arrays in other programming languages. So you have number keyed arrays in languages where index 0 has a value, index 1 has a value, index 2 has a value, index 3 has a value, that type of thing. And then you have named key arrays where instead of it being an index number, it will be a name. So basically you'll have actual like a string name for something with a value, name string of something with a value, name string of something with a value, so on and so forth. And so that's how most programming languages deal with it. It is important to understand that in Python there are arrays. There are arrays, but they're a little bit more of an advanced topic. It's interesting. Arrays specifically actually allow you to do some rather complicated math. So once you start doing like real calculations with numbers, statistical modeling, that type of thing, you're actually going to need arrays. And that's the thing that arrays can do. They're very, very good for math. And so if you need, something that's good for math in the Python world, there's a module called arrays. There are other ways to bring arrays in, and that's when you can actually interact with quote-unquote real arrays. What is built into Python by default, though, are these things called collections that look a lot like arrays, but of course, as Python, they got to do it their own way, so they are slightly different. And so it's just one of those things to keep in mind. What we're talking about, basically will give you like 90% of the functionality you would use an array for, but they're not actually arrays. Anyway, so we have these different types, data types that are under the heading of collections in the Python world. We have sets, we have tuples, we have lists, and we have dictionaries. And it's important to understand the difference between these data types. If we look at this, list is most likely the most standard of this collection data type that we're going to use, and it's literally just a list of items. Imagine a list of names: Bob, Sue, Phil, Tim, whatever, right? You're going to use a square bracket. Basically, you're going to plug in either strings or number values. It's going to have a numbered index, so index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, and that will be where the values are, and you can pull those values out. That is what we're going to be talking about with a list. It's ordered, it's mutable, and it allows duplicates. What this means is that you can sort the values, so you can sort the values alphabetically, reverse alphabetically, that type of thing. You can change the values, so if the name is supposed to be Billy and not Bob, if you can change the value from Bob to Billy or a different name, that type of thing. And if you have multiple Bobs in your list, that's fine. So you can have 5 Bobs, 2 Sues, 1 Phil, and a Tim. Right? That's what we're dealing with when we're talking about lists. You're going to have dictionaries. What dictionaries allow you to do is it allows you to have these key value pairs. So think about this as like a named key array in most other programming languages. The key is a name, and then the value is the value. So name, colon, Bob, right? Age, colon, 22, shirt size, colon, small, right? That's basically what we're talking about with dictionaries. Dictionaries are also, you're able to change the values within the dictionary, and we'll go over those in other classes. We then have things like sets, and we have tuples. We get to be a little bit curious. When you're dealing with tuples is most likely you're going to be dealing with this with things like artificial intelligence or machine learning, where you're going to be getting values back from a module or something, and they don't want you to modify it. Here is the data. Don't mess with it, right? What do I mean by that? So tuples are used a lot in when we use OpenCV. So OpenCV is a computer vision framework that you can use with Python. And so basically when you get the values back from OpenCV, you're going to get an X coordinate, a Y coordinate, the height of the object that was detected, and the width of the object that was detected. And it's going to give that to you. Now, it doesn't want you to modify that. It doesn't want you to sort it. It doesn't want you to do anything with it. Here's the X, here's the Y, here's the height, here's the width. go do something, right? Take that information somewhere else. So it's immutable. You're not able to modify it. You're not able to sort it. Basically, it's just giving you the information, and then you have to turn it into something else before you can modify it how you see fit. And so you're going to get a lot of this, again, out of kind of like the AI world, the computer vision world, the machine learning world, where something is just going to give you information. It's got to be a set of numbers, and it doesn't want you dorking with the numbers. Because imagine if you got like a set, the x coordinate, the y coordinate, the height, and the width, and then imagine if you sorted that alphabetically. What? That doesn't make sense, right? So anyways, that's what we're talking about with tuples. And then we have sets. Basically, with sets, you're able to remove items from sets, but there can be no duplicates, which is actually kind of interesting. So this might be if you're going through and you're just counting to see if a certain item exists. You don't even necessarily need to know how many of the item is, but basically it goes through and any new item you can add to the set, but if there's multiple of that same item in the set, the rest of them will be deleted. They will not be added to the set. So this is a way that you can get rid of duplicates in your data so that you only get one instance of each particular item. So this is a brief overview of what collections are. We're going to be talking more about collections. We're going to be using lists and dictionaries and tuples quite a bit, sets every once in a while. And so this might seem a little confusing right now, but I swear it's going to get easier. The important thing to remember is that by default, Python doesn't use arrays, but you can get arrays, but you probably don't actually want an array. You probably want one of these things.